reason for that is that the federal law is clear that injunctions are only valid, or temporary restraining orders are only valid if they come with an injunction bond, and no bond was ordered. Bond is designed to protect taxpayers from the cost of having to comply with an injunction that is later to be found to be invalid. So if under the Supreme Court they decide that there was authority to deport these aliens, but it cost us all this money to turn those planes around, to hold them in jail, we should have to be compensated as taxpayers for that money, and that compensation has to come up front, and that wasn't done here, and the law is very clear that without a bond, the injunction is invalid. So there was no violation of the order, because there was no court.
Okay, the president of El Salvador responded to the judge's order. He said, oopsie, too late. Seems as if he had no issue with taking back these alleged criminals. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they were already outside of the U.S. airspace for one, but it blows my mind what the American are arguing. Because that's how bad these individuals are. And it's just, honestly, I'm blown away at any person that would say, do not remove these people from our community. Do not remove these people from our country. They're bad people. They're criminals. They're wanted in their own country for the crimes that they've committed. I don't get it anymore. I really don't get it. Why would you defend that?
All right, there you go, making sense again. You see? But finally, that's what's happening in America. We're trying to do things. Donald Trump is doing things that make sense. We let all these dangerous people in. Now he's rounding them up and kicking them out. And you have groups who are trying to put their rights, if they have any, over the rights of U.S. citizens, law-abiding U.S. citizens. Now, the judge, James Boasberg, Dan, the chief judge of the District Court for Washington, D.C., is the one who ordered these flights to return to the U.S. after a lawsuit by the ACLU alleged some Venezuelans being deported were not part of the infamous gang friendly Iraq. If that's true, what would it mean for those individuals? And what do you think of this judge?
Well, I think he's completely out of control. I mean, asserting all sorts of authorities over people who aren't even here, dangerous criminals, when there's a clear basis for doing what the administration did. The bottom line is, if they were able to prove that someone was totally misidentified, which I highly doubt happened here, then that person could be brought back and made whole. That happens sometimes. When people are released from prison, they're proven to be innocent, they're compensated. It's not something that we have no procedures for. The procedures exist. But the bigger point here, the president needs to have a foreign affairs. The law is right to injection, you must have bond, and no bond is issued. Literally self-defense.
Why are you shaking your head?
You're illegally, it's simple. It's not just so much. Right. You're illegally. You should be moved. Plain and simple. I need to chat for a while. I thought for 8 years, I've been on that for over 2 decades. I actually worked down there. I was one of the that came out to the last 4 years. These individuals, they didn't do that legally. They're implementing our laws. They got out there, they got them to fix, and then women for 5 years out there, put their lives on the line, and they're really, they need to be. And for any judge says, no, it's not a woman, you know, that they need to put up their own address and have them move in, that's what they need to do. Right to get back to that.
That's doing that. Send them all at his house. We also saw the deportation of a Rhode Island woman, Dr. Rochelle, who stopped at the airport after the border between the United States and heading close to the neighborhood of Hezbollah leaders under Trump. Talk to her about why she was in Lebanon and what she did there. She reportedly admitted attending the funeral of a Hezbollah leader, Hezbollah being a terrorist organization. Now, she was in the U.S. legally working on an H-1B visa and a court order, apparently. But, Dan, your thoughts on this case are a little more murky, perhaps. Did the stuff on her phone and her attendance at a terror leader's funeral justify her deportation?
I mean, I think absolutely. Look, the United States is under no obligation to invite in terrorist sympathizers. If you're here, you're a lunatic, and you're sympathize with Hamas, well, maybe we have American citizens, but we are under no obligation to invite in these fools. And so I have, as long as she's not a citizen, and she was not a citizen, they're within their rights to deport her. I mean, certain procedures have to be followed, but I understand that those were done here. And in fact, I've heard that the lawyers who were representing her dropped it when they found out how clear the evidence was about what a terrorist sympathizer she, in fact, is.
All right, we just have a few seconds left, but I want to get your thoughts on this too. She had a pretty clever argument, this doctor. She claimed that she followed the Hezbollah leader's religious ideology, but not his politics. Does that get her off the hook?
No, there's legally admitted people in the country that are migrants, but they're legally admitted, but they're when you're entering the front door, which that's the operation front door, if there's anything there that's suspicious, of course, on the reflect, then I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't like my family and I hope that there was something suspicious. And that's the bottom line there.
Okay, I don't know again. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on all this. President Trump is actually Russian President Vladimir tomorrow. And so, on the verge of a ceasefire agreement.
It was called the War to End All. It served as a prelude of worse things to come. It was the world's first universal war, with the nations of the United States, United Kingdom, France, Greece, Italy, Russia, and 19 other countries.
To start, but first we need leaders with a backbone. We have leaders.
Well, Aaron, what I'm not hearing, and what I haven't seen, Sarah, let me just jump in here real quick. I have not seen any unity of any kind. I'm not seeing anyone on the same page here. They're coming from every direction. No one's in agreement. The stuff that went on at Trump's address to Congress, the joint address to Congress, that was just embarrassing. And when they wouldn't stand up for a kid with cancer or victims of crime, it seems like there's bad messaging going on, and no one's really taking care.
Chose to highlight and then give him that special badge during that joint session. We know the hand that President Donald Trump is trying to play, and stand for Donald Trump's antics in that moment. We can't decide to use the media for when it works for us and then be mad when it works against us. Certainly not in the confines of a joint session. And so that's where Donald Trump very well. He plays the game well. People fall into it and they eat it up. And Democrats, unfortunately, still have not found a message that will work well for them. Right now, the Republicans including Donald Trump are using three big ways: race, fraud, and abuse. And what Democrats are using are lies, and abuse. But if they want to put some seats in 2026, if they want to have an even shot at winning back the White House in 2028, they've got to get messaging together. They've got to get better leadership in place, and certainly they've got to get some leaders with a backbone.
Democratic voters say 2-1. They want party leaders to fight rather than compromise, even at the risk of not getting things done, per that same NBC News poll. And in a CNN poll, Democrats were asked who best reflects the core values of their party. 10% said Congresswoman AOC. 9% said Kamala Harris. 8% said Bernie Sanders. 6% said Hakeem Jeffries. 4% said former President Obama. Apparently, Joe Biden didn't even make the list. I don't see any one of those people being a front runner 4 years from now. And it also looks like the party is just shifting further and further left. And maybe by appealing to the fringe, they're going to disenfranchise moderates and independent voters.
Well, it's the old adage, stand for something or fall for anything. We see members like Congresswoman AOC, we see members like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas standing up, being bold, and speaking their mind. Yes, they use choice words. Yes, they are very staunch in what they say and what they believe and who they direct it to. That's what people want to see. Anything else is falling flat amongst Democrats, amongst moderate Democrats, and amongst independent voters.
Yeah.
People want to see somebody fight for them. What they see on the Republican side, even if they don't agree with it, is Republicans are fighting for what they want, and they are asking that Democrats do the same.
Sarah, I wish we had more time. Always great hearing your opinions. We got to go to break. Appreciate you being here. We'll be right back after this.
The unconditional pardon to the fallen president with this decree.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
On October 17, 1974, President Ford agreed to appear before Congress to defend his historic decision.
I was absolutely convinced then, as I am now, that if we had had this series, an indictment, a trial, conviction, and anything else that transpired after that, that the attention of the President, the Congress, and the American people would have been diverted from the problems that we have to solve.
Historians have lauded President Ford's political courage in granting the pardon, but the move was widely believed to have cost him the presidency in 1976, when he was defeated by former Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Chris, and this is an American moment.
We welcome change and openness, for we believe that freedom and security go together. There is one sign the Soviets can make that would be unmistakable, that would advance dramatically the cause of freedom and peace. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Millions of Americans whose thyroid gland wasn't functioning like it was supposed to. And that's why I started taking Actilin, a premium nutritional supplement. Actilin was created by renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein, formulated with 17 powerful ingredients to specifically support your thyroid function, general health, and metabolism. And now you can get a free special offer. Just get a small plus receive Dr. Brown's free special a doctor's guide to a healthy diet. If you're experiencing lots of energy, cold hands,
then President Saddam Hussein ordered his army to invade Kuwait. His objective was to eliminate the mafia. It took 5 months of failed negotiations before the United States and its European and Arab allies abandoned their diplomatic efforts and initiated military actions against the invading Iraqi forces. On the evening of January 16, 1995, President George Herbert Walker Bush addressed the nation. Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. These attacks continue at light speed. The largest Allied militaries worldwide storming Normandy. He led over 500,000 troops with military forces, primarily from the United States, Britain, and Saudi Arabia, along with logistical and financial support from an additional 31 nations. President Bush was quick to make known the Allies' clear and limited objectives. Known history as the Gulf War, or First Gulf War, it marked the beginning of frontline reporting by embedded news reporters from around the world, providing their viewers with live pictures of ongoing battlefield actions. Anticipating the Arab nations opposing him would refuse to fight alongside their arch-enemy, the Israelis, Hussein launched Scud missile attacks against Israel, hoping to draw them into the conflict. But the U.S. quickly deployed to Israel the new Patriot missile interceptors, which for the first time were used successfully on the battlefield. In the end, Israel stood back. Within 100 hours of the ground forces launching their assault, the war was over. Before Saddam Hussein had ordered the destruction of an early oil field to be stopped. 1 week following the cessation of fighting, President George Herbert Walker Bush addresses Congress. As president, I report to the nation, aggression is defeated, the war is over. And this is the American moment. You serve your country with honor. Now, the benefits you rightfully earned. All our lawyers have written the book every veteran should own. Veterans Benefits for You. This step-by-step guide breaks down what you need to know, from financial compensation to disability, to information for the pensions and benefits. This book is a must-read for all servicemen and women. Get your free copy today with our special offer. Call on your screen or go online to order. Tonight, this is war. President Trump invoking aliens may be back in 1998. The Senate and members from Poland prison. Although the U.S. was translated as no move to stop him from leaving the United States. But, fight. You'll keep cheering. It's Donald Baker in the Texas chief of staff about the lowest takeover of Ireland. I'll tell you why this should not only America and the USA, but by the United States. And Kennedy centered this on Ireland. President Trump revealed the absurd security system. You won't believe the way our tax dollars are being wasted on liberal incompetence. All that and much more. The Pulse starts now. GG, I hear my friend. You'll be first also to say happy St. Pat's Day to all you out there. Welcome to the Pulse. I am David Burton. Well, President Trump is using the alien as exactly 1798 to get illegal aliens in.
That's the Constitution, and we do follow that. Well, today on Airport One, President Trump said the Alien Enemies Act was created exactly for situations like what we're in right now.
Illegally and have done terrible things to victims all over the United States.
Yeah, they have. I had a report on every time a young woman or girl, teenage girl, was raped and murdered at the hands of these criminal, illegal aliens who shouldn't even be here. And it's heartbreaking. And I'm glad that you pointed out, and it should be a reminder to everyone. Tren de Aragua, of which 238 have just been deported back out of our country. Do you have any idea, before I bring up my main point, do you have any idea how many more of Tren de Aragua or MS-13 are actually still just roaming our state hiding, trying not to get caught? sheds here for these illegal alien criminal gang members that have been taking over. What's their end game? Their end game is to take over, use whatever manner of force, legal or otherwise, treat people like trash, probably for worse, and just make as much profit as possible, prostituting, trafficking, drugs, all of it. Who wants these people in our country? Like you pointed out, like I said before, Nicaragua was not even in the United States of America before Joe Biden took office. What was going on in your guys' mind? We've been on the border for so long and fighting this, the cartels, and been fighting the border war to try to keep Americans safe. What was going on in your mind when you heard that walking?
It's really unbelievable. We had 4 years of an out-of-control chaotic border in which the previous administration said, oh, there's nothing to see here. It's not a crisis. It's not a big deal. 250,000 children thrive in the United States. They gave more money to drug cartels than any single investment that anybody has ever made, right? Because the command policy in the United States for drugs. We fuel the cartels. But the Biden administration did more for those cartels than any human being on the planet because he cracked open all the control levels that were at the border and he tried to get the rest of us to ignore it. And the left went right along with him. Now, when people are complaining now that Trump is trying to fix this problem, they went right along with him while the border was completely out of control. We had 10,000 encounters on Sundays in between the wars in the war. So that's even count people who snuck in unobserved by any law enforcement agency. Now it's time to fix this problem. And the left wants people to believe that folks that are here illegally are somehow noble and deserve to stay here. That's not how our law works. That's not what we want from our operational folks on the ground at the border. So now it's time to fix it. Now we have a commander-in-chief, a secretary of Homeland Security that knows what her job is. She's at the door this weekend visiting the troops. And so now it's time to take the capability and what the frontline can do with the tools provided in the White House and make America safe again. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, that's what most of us understand that President Trump's administration is trying to do. That's why America hired him to do that exact job. Never thought I'd see the day when judges are trying to literally on a plane of illegal alien gang members with some of the worst rap sheets midair to bring them back to the United States. It's just pure insanity. Ron, thank you so much, sir, for doing the post tonight.
Thank you.
Coming up, UFC legend Conor McGregor gives a passionate speech at the White House, and I'll give you my take on whether Joe Biden's pardons are legally binding. 80% of your immune system is controlled by gut bacteria, and many people suffer from digestion woes. Dr. David Brownstein created Bactipro to help. This premium formula supports optimal immune health and contains 6 powerful probiotics. So try Bactipro to see if it helps you with a risk-free offer. Get 30 days of Bactipro at no cost to you. Go online now or call us toll-free today.
The ethical moral principles of the Judeo-Christian faith and the God of that tradition are the Declaration of Independence. Most presidents of the United States have declared their faith in God and have encouraged us to read the Bible. I'm encouraged to believe that Americans at this hour are striving to retain their spiritual identity despite the inroads of materialism and the rising tide of primitivism. On the front page of the Chicago newspaper some time ago, there appeared a picture of Betsy Ross showing the French-American flag. And over the picture was the caption, "Time to check our stitches." Let's check the stitches of racism that still persists in America. Let's check the stitches of poverty that bind some of our countrymen. Let's check the stitches of foreign policy to be sure that our objectives and goals are in keeping with the American dream.
you could help reduce the urge to go to the bathroom due to your aging prostate, if you could improve your energy levels because you're getting a better night's sleep, would you? Of course you would. And now you can, with the help of Prostate Revive, the premium dietary supplement for men whose lives, sleep, and energy levels are affected due to the concerns of aging prostate. It was specially formulated for men by noted medical doctor, Dr. David Brownstein.
Prostate Revive is really about healthy aging. It contains a plant sterol called beta-sinosterol, combined with 15 other important ingredients. Prostate Revive's exclusive formula helps promote normal prostate function, and that means you can reduce the urge to go and finally get a good night's sleep.
Here's how you can try Prostate Revive risk-free.
Simply call or visit our website now, and we'll send every new customer a risk-free 30-day trial of Prostate Revive. You discover the low shipping and handling. This is a $39.95 value, so don't delay. Call or go online today. Welcome back, friends, to The Pulse. I'm David Harris Jr. Well, UFC champion and legend Conor McGregor met with President Trump at the White House today to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But Conor also used his trip to Washington to address the failures of the Irish government. Let's watch his complaints about the globalist takeover of Ireland and see if they sound familiar to you.
We have to raise the issues for people who are in the place. You know, and the music for the people who are volunteers. Because never on the main stage has the issues for people who are in the place been spoke. You know, our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland. And it's high time that America is made aware of what's going on in Ireland. What's going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. You know, our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop. They become a minority in one swoop. So issues need to be addressed. And the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this because if not, there will be no place to come home and visit.
Ireland's money and their taxpayers going overseas, foreign interests being overran and invaded by illegal aliens and becoming a minority. Yeah, it sounds very familiar, Conor. And if Conor McGregor is looking for bold action, well, he came to the right president. This weekend, President Trump posting a warning to the Democrats of the sham January 6th committee, writing, quote, the pardons that sleepy Joe Biden gave the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and no further force or effect because they were done by auto pen. Joe Biden didn't sign them, but more importantly, he didn't know anything about them. And the people that did may have committed a crime. Well, today at the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said even Democrats have questions about the legitimacy of Joe Biden's auto pen signatures.
The president was raising the point that did the president even know about these pardons? Was his legal signature used without his consent or knowledge? And that's not just the president or me raising those questions, Caitlin. According to the New York Post, there are Biden officials from the previous White House who raised those questions and wondered if the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the President of the United States autograph without his consent.
On the record talking about the issue of premium pardons to these people.
But was he aware of the signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Evidence on that? Did he look at that?
You're a reporter. You should find out.
Yeah, I think that's something every American wants to know, don't you? I sure as heck want to know. Did Joe Biden know what was going on? Was he there half the time? Seems like he wasn't there half the time. He was on the beach or falling up the stairs more than once or falling off a bicycle. But the real question is, are Joe Biden's auto pen pardons legally null and void? Joining me now is constitutional law attorney Jesse Banal. Jesse, thank you so much, sir, for joining the Pulse this evening. What are your thoughts? If it's come out, it's pretty obvious. We've seen the videos, the graphs, all these signatures are the exact same. That's not possible. It's not mathematically possible. Auto pen was used. If auto pen was used, and there's no proof that Joe Biden was the one that was using
concerned about this. The Constitution is very clear that it is the president that has the power of the party, and the president alone. And we cannot have a presidency by committee, which I think is very clear. That is exactly what was going on now during the Biden administration, where when his mental faculties started to fail him, rather than doing what the Constitution requires, which is allow the vice president to take over under the 25th Amendment, they continue to have him in as the president in name only, something that you see in Soviet times, really, refusing to acknowledge when someone has lost their faculties and having them in as a puppet. And in a situation like that, where you cannot show that the president actually assented to those pardons, and instead have them signed by autograph. And if the president actually did instruct the pardon to be signed by autograph, that might be something very different. But I think it is the burden of the Biden administration now to show that the president himself assented to those pardons. And while this is something that there's no legal precedent for, I think that we may very well now be looking at a legal precedent being set. And the way to do that is through the litigation, through charges being brought, and then those people being charged will have the opportunity to try to put on evidence that Joe Biden knew what he was doing and purposely himself authorized the pardons. To do that, I think they're going to have to waive executive privilege in order to do so.
Wow, this is definitely something new. Like you said, I was going to ask you if there was any precedent for this whatsoever. I don't believe there is either. Just another huge announcement from President Trump breaking today on Truth Social. The president writing, quote, Hunter Biden has had Secret Service protection for an extended period of time, all paid for by the United States taxpayer. There are as many as 18 people on his detail, which is ridiculous. He is currently vacationing in, of all places, South Africa, where the human rights of people has been strenuously questioned. Effective immediately, Hunter Biden will no longer receive Secret Service protection. Likewise, Ashley Biden, who has 13 agents, will be taken off the list. Jesse, I'm sure there's going to be Democrats who push back on that decision, but does President Trump legally have the final say?
The Secret Service works for the President of the United States. It's part of the executive branch, and the President always has the say. And let's remember that the Democrats who are going to cry about this are the same Democrats that were demanding that President Trump's Secret Service be removed from him right before the assassination attempt in Butler, for instance. And so they don't have a leg to stand on here. The fact is, especially when it comes to Ashley and Hunter, who never served as the President of the United States or any other official of the United States, it is very, very reasonable in this case to say if you want a protected detail, and that is up to you to pay for it, not the American taxpayers. It's something very different than President Biden himself, who still receives Secret Service protection. But his children who never served in that capacity, President Trump is, I think, exactly right to do exactly what he did.
So in just the last 24, 48 hours, President Trump literally is shedding light that the pardons, which were Fauci, which were Hunter Biden, which were Joe Biden's family, for all the money trails that were being investigated, all the January 6th committee, gone. All those pardons, effectively, he's saying they're null and void, and we're going to have to wait and find out exactly what happens. I, for one, want to know. I'm still curious why Joe Biden gave Dr. Fauci a pardon back to 2014. It's like, what was Fauci doing back then that we don't know about that somebody knew? Probably wasn't Joe. Probably was on the auto pin. But I want to get over this too. President Trump also announced more legal news today. Watch what he said from the Kennedy Center this afternoon.
We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this, and I've instructed my people that are responsible. Lots of different people put together by Tulsi Gabbard, and that's going to be released tomorrow. We have a tremendous amount of paper. You got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. I said, just don't redact. You can't redact be releasing the JFK files. And that would be tomorrow. Do you have anything else to add to that, Carol? So it's a big announcement. They've been waiting for that for decades. And I said during the campaign, I do it, and I'm a man of my word.
He is a man of his word. The JFK files will be released. I read as well, there's about 80,000 documents with nothing being redacted. What do you think that we're about to learn? And why do you think it's been kept secret for so long?
That's the real question, David. 61 years, this has remained under wraps and hidden from the American people, hidden from history and historians. And if there's government misconduct in those, and I suspect there will be some government misconduct that we're going to learn about, that's something that the American people deserve to learn about. Because I think there's been a history of government abuse from many three-letter agencies going back decades and decades. And this president is the first president that has been so dedicated to transparency, so dedicated to being able to give the American people the truth, that finally, good, bad, or ugly, we're going to get the truth. And again, keeping yet another one of the campaign promises, something that politicians in Washington, D.C. is blowing their mind. That there's actually somebody elected in office that does what the American people, when he told the American people he was going to do during the election.
Yeah, that's exactly, again, why so many millions of Americans voted for him. And I think you're right. I think we're definitely going to see some government misconduct is a light way to put it. And then I think that'll also shed light on what President Trump went through last year. Hopefully we'll get into that at some point in the future, too. We still have a whole lot of questions about that attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. Jesse Banal, thank you so much, sir, for your insights. Appreciate you.
Thank you, David.
Coming up, President Trump unleashing the military on the Iranian-backed Houthis this weekend. I'll tell you what it means for the future of the Middle East next.
Hi, folks, we're back. Getting accused in accidents is not your fault. Things don't happen at parties, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
4 years, 8 months, and 1 day after the Japanese surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, marking America's entrance into World War II. A B-29 bomber nicknamed the Enola Gay dropped the world's with the Japanese refusing to surrender. Allied intelligence determining their land invasion of their homeland to the more This is the hard lesson.
Choke. Sorry, it's for education. Slap. Punch. Kick. Poke. Pinch. Shove. Choke. Sorry, it's for education.
He spoke to us of his dreams and his beliefs that justice too long delayed is justice denied.
Welcome back, friends, to The Pulse. I am David Harris Jr. Well, President Trump is unleashing the military on Middle East terrorists. This weekend, American forces launched airstrikes against the Houthis in Yemen. The Houthis tried to retaliate with their own missiles on U.S. Marines in the Red Sea, but none of them came close. President Trump posting a warning to Iran through social, quote, every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot from the weapons and leadership of Iran. And Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences. And those consequences will be dire. And last week, President Trump rained destruction on ISIS in Iraq, killing the group's leader along with another ISIS fighter. So what message is President Trump sending to the world with these strikes?
You know these verbs in English?
And battalion
Rip out. Past tense, ripped. Past participle, ripped. I ripped out a page.
Taking it to the terrorists, unleashing our military power, the greatest military in the world,
Fold.
and letting them go do their job.
Past tense,
The enemy
folded.
of America.
Past participle, folded. I folded the page.
Thanks for having me. I love watching this too. One of the biggest differences
Tear.
is
Past tense.
when he authorized the military to do exactly
Past
what he said,
participle,
they went out and
tore.
filed the stand.
I tore the page.
This time it's completely different. And you can see that through how they're targeting and what they're targeting. They're taking
Crumple.
for radar
Past tense.
systems that you
Crumple.
need to go back
Past participle, crumple. I crumpled the page. How many of these verbs did you get correct? You know these verbs in English? Rip out. Past tense, ripped. Past participle, ripped. I ripped out a page.
We don't care. Open up the Red Sea. Egypt's making money again if the Suez Canal opens. And there are so many other benefits that you
So if another one takes your
bread and you snap and it goes to
don't
Iran,
get
China, it goes to Moscow. This one thing
Let them
that we just have to message is we're back.
because
We need business.
few
Don't
women
mess with it.
cannot be taken away. Hope
We're
it's
back
time.
to do business and don't mess with it. That should be a
So
book.
if
Give it to me.
How
Hand it over.
is this? When I was in the B,
That's something I want.
deal with
You're gonna have
Barack Hussein Obama.
I'll think about
I
it.
heard that he
I'll
was
mull it
pretty
over.
similar in his military actions as Joe Biden was.
I'll mull it over
So basically, having our military in handcuffs.
I'm
Not
going.
really among them. Since
I'm
these
heading
they've
off.
been trained to do it. And so the fighting will go
Okay,
on
honey,
and
I'm
on.
friendly.
Before it
Go, dolls.
take any ground.
Give
What
it
do you
to
say
me.
is the difference
Hand it
between
over.
even Barack and Joe Biden compared to
That's
President Trump?
Well, Barack and Biden both kind of did the apology tour, running to the Middle East, or just plain on
Give it to me. Hand it over.
If you, I guess you're simply going to say.
That's something I want.
Right.
You're gonna hand it over.
I'll think about it. I'll mull it over.
You got to actually show strength.
I'll mull it over.
Convince the people of the Middle East.
I'm going.
Clubs and other
I'm heading off.
means business. You don't do that by just
Okay,
saying.
honey,
You have to demonstrate it,
Doodles.
and then from that point
Give it
forward,
to me.
you can say
Hand it
because
over.
of improvement.
I go here, you have it. I go there, you have it. What is wrong with you? Is it a crime? I am as a tenant. I want that. It's not a crime to have me as a tenant in your house. And I'm not saying you either.
And what is the doing
Check
that?
everything right. And then, here you are carrying a pot of service. How do you know it's a pot of service? You're not going to. I don't need to pretend now. It's obvious. I can smell it. I'm sure it's from how she you have a right to know. I I see. It is truly said that the idle mind is the devil's works. So you can smell people soon from kilometers away. It is high time to act out of this concept. Yes, because I cannot have people like you who slave around in my compound.
So what will they do?
I go here, you have me. I go there, you have me. What is wrong with you? Is it a crime that I have you as a tenant and I love you? It's not a crime to have me as a tenant in your house. And I'm not treating you either. I just want to check the rules and rights. And then here you are carrying the proper service. How do you know it's a proper service? I don't need to pretend now. It's obvious. I can smell it. I'm sure it's for her soon. You have a right to know. I see. It is for the that the other man is the devil's works. So you can smell people so from kilometers away. It is high time to act out. Yes, because I cannot have people like you who slave around in my compound. I go here, you are me. I go there, you are me. What is wrong with you? It's a crime that I have you as a tenant in my house. It's not a crime to have me as a tenant in your house. And I'm not training you either. I just went to check the rules and rights. And then here you are carrying a pot of soup. Again, how do you know it's a pot of soup? Your landlord. I don't need to pretend now. It's obvious. I can smell it. I'm sure. That the other mind is the devil's workshop. You can smell people soon from kilometers away. It is high time to act out of this concept. Yes, cannot be that level. Because I cannot have people like you who slave around in my compound. I go here, you have made your small business appear. Follow this process. It's so amazing, guys. Just watch it. Every time I see that, wow, so look at this. You see that your jacket, you're using it. As it's here, like, nobody can have it. Go back and format when you put this video to the end. Follow this process. It's so amazing, guys. Just watch and see. Can you guys see that? Wow, so look at this. You see that your jacket, you're using it here. As it's here, like, make sure you contact the best people.
Papa. Come on. Friend. Mate. Hello, mate.
Cheers, mate. You too, mate.
Isn't it? In it.
Bulldog in it. Look at that. Just Jane.
Hungry. Package.
Eat, please. Package. What am I on package? This is man-made package.
Toilet.
I just didn't feel like myself.
Loo.
And then
Can I use your name? Can I use your name?
Yours now, please.
Americans
whose thyroid gland
Papa.
wasn't functioning like it was. And that's why I started taking Actilin, a premium nutritional supplement. Actilin was created by renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein, formulated with 17
Cheers, mate. You too, mate.
thyroid function, adrenal health, and metabolism.
Bulldog in it.
You can
Look
get
at that.
a free bottle
Just Jane.
of
Not only are they watching you, they watching the people that they put up to watch. You got a whole lot of people that they put up to watch you and told them they didn't want anything to do with you. All of a sudden, they watching them people too, because a lot of the people that say, I don't want nothing to do with you, if you catch them alone, they're going to give you everything you want. So they just spread the word. We want this person under 24/7 surveillance. Because I'm feeling the energy of the people that say that they want nothing to do with them. If they catch them alone, them same people going to get this individual everything that they want. They watching you now. You want the more heavy surveillance they can ever be in. They got you under 24/7, 365. Watch. You want the community watch now. It's for all the reasons that are opposite for the reason that they began.
Position as he put Donald Trump in. And
They were watching you when first trying to put pressure on you about their own tormented torture.
It's so much of
When they thought they were going to turn into torture, it turned out to be a bona fide threat. So not only are they watching you, they're watching the people that they put up to watch you. Because a whole lot of people that they put up to watch you, they told them they didn't want anything to do with you. All of a sudden, they watching them people too. Because a lot of the people that said, I don't want nothing to do with you, if you catch them alone, they're going to give you everything you want. So they just spread the word. We want this person under 24/7 surveillance. Because I'm feeling the energy of the people that said that they want nothing to do with them. If they catch them alone, them same people going to get this individual everything that they want. They watching you now. You want the more heavy surveillance than you ever been in. They got you under 24/7, 365 watch. You under community watch now. And it's for all the reasons that are opposite for the reason that they began watching. They were watching you at first trying to put pressure on you, thought they were going to torment and torture you.
Towards the end of this summer, I believe, David, because at that point, after this 9 months of this journey, we are going to see a lot.
The one they thought they were going to torment and torture turned out to be a bona fide threat. So not only are they watching you, they watching the people that they put up to watching you. Because a whole lot of people that they put up to watching you, they told them they didn't want anything to do with you. All of a sudden, they watching them people too. Because a lot of the people that said, I don't want nothing to do with you, if you catch them alone, they're going to give you everything you want. So they just spread the word. We want this person under 24/7 surveillance. Because I'm feeling the energy of the people that said that they want nothing to do with them. If they catch them alone, them same people going to get this individual everything that they want. They watching you now. You want the more heavy surveillance than you've ever been in. They got you on 24/7, 365 watch. You want the community watch now. And it's for all the reasons that are opposite for the reason that they began watching. They were watching you at first trying to put pressure on you, thought they were going to torment and torture you. The one they thought they were going to torment and torture turned out to be a bona fide threat. So not only are they watching you, they watching the people that they put up to watching you. Because a whole lot of people that they put up to watching you, they told them they didn't want anything to do with you. All of a sudden, they watching them people too. Because a lot of the people that said, I don't want nothing to do with you, if you catch them alone, they're going to give you everything you want. So they just spread the word. We want this person under 24/7 surveillance. Because I'm feeling the energy of the people that said that didn't want nothing to do with them. If they catch them alone, them same people gonna get this individual everything that they want.
That's what I want to speak to. So many of us put our dreams on a starvation diet. So many of us stop feeding our dreams, waiting for a better time, a better moment in the future. And there's businesses on the other end of this tonight. There's women that know that
your ex is stalking you. Yeah, she dumped you, but her mission is not yet complete until she sees you fail completely. That woman who rejects you is also stalking you. Her mission is not yet complete until she sees that you fail. Nobody monitors your life more than those who want to see.
It's bigger than the life where I'm at. And he decided to bet on himself and bet on
you fail, because in their minds, they have already positioned you as a failure. She has moved on from you, but she has not moved on from your progress story. If you eventually make it big in life, she will blame herself, quarrel herself, scold herself, and in pain, regret, and shame, she will hide her face and cry, asking herself why she made this mistake. Some, without shame, will start lobbying their way back into your life. If you eventually fail, she will be happy because you have just confirmed that she made the right choice by dumping you. She left you because she never believed that you would succeed. And here you are, still a failure. Brothers, you have a point to prove. First, not to her, but to yourself. You owe yourself success. You owe your family success. You owe your siblings, good friends, and your future success. A lot depends on your success. If you fail today, you will not only suffer, people depending on you will also suffer greatly. Use her plans and the plans of those who never think that you will succeed. Putinists. Your ex is stalking you. Yeah, she loves you, but her mission is not yet complete until she sees you fail completely. That woman who rejects you is also stalking you. Her mission is not yet complete until she sees that you fail. Nobody monitors your life more than those who want to see you fail, because in their minds, they have already positioned you as a failure. She has moved on from you, but she has not moved on from your progress story. If you eventually make it big in life, she will blame herself, quarrel herself, scold herself, and in pain, regret, and shame, she will hide her face and cry, asking herself why she made this mistake. Some, without shame, will start lobbying their way back into your...
Grab it, hold on to it, and claim it, and then take action. Rex, thank you so much for joining. Friends, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching.
What's the definition of an employee? They use their energy, their time for someone else's dream. He said, what's the definition of self-employed? You use your energy, your time for your own dream. Right? Then he said you become an entrepreneur and you own a business. The definition of business owner, they use other people's time and energy and their own money for their own dream. Now you're starting to scale up. But what does a capitalist do? Other people's time, other people's energy, other people's money for their dream. That's the top of the food chain. What's the definition of an employee? They use their energy, their time for someone else's dream. He said, what's the definition of self-employed? You use your energy.
You've been sold to believe if you don't have your records, you can't get rated for it. That's a bullshit. They only have to be 50% or more sure it happened in service to pay for it. Most people that we help here at Metcom don't have any records. 90% of people come to us with nothing, and we successfully get them to 100%. We don't even worry about it.
I was taken outside, the orders were already out there.
Soon after, on November 4th, 1979, Colonel Charles Scott, one of the 52 people at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, was taken hostage after a mob had ransacked the grounds. Throughout their captivity, embassy personnel were subjected to torture and harassment.
I was beaten, I was hung by my wrists.
At first, the Ayatollah Khomeini opposed the embassy seizure, but quickly changed his mind once he realized he could use the seizure to his country while declaring himself Iran's new leader. The hostages were taken in hopes of forcing the U.S. to return the Shah to stand trial. Following the Shah's death from medical complications, Iran changed their demands to an apology from the U.S., immunity from reprisals, the release of Iran's assets, and a pledge of no future U.S. interference in Iran. 5 months into the hostage crisis, President Carter ordered a rescue attempt using the Army's Delta Force. The bold plan called for 8 U.S. helicopters to rendezvous in the Iranian desert and launch a covert raid on the embassy, rescuing the hostages. But the plan ended as 3 helicopters were not operational and the mission was aborted. As U.S. helicopters withdrew, one struck a transport plane, with both exploding, killing 8 U.S. servicemen. The mission had failed.
It was my decision to attempt the rescue operation. It was my decision to cancel it when problems developed in the placement of our rescue team for a future rescue operation. The responsibility is put in my own.
And the chances of Jimmy Carter's re-election disappeared that fateful night. Ronald Reagan won the election that year, promising to finish the job against Iran. After 444 days of captivity, on January 20th, 1980, on the very day and very hour of his inauguration as America's 40th president, Iran released the American hostages. You're watching An American Moment on Newsmax TV.
Federal agencies urge every family to have an emergency radio. During any disaster, electrical power may get cut. The emergency radio gives you the following information. Facts 1. Emergency radio. It doesn't need in emergencies. Call for local law and get the emergency from today. Your life will depend on it.
It's looking northwest. So, that's what the context. Over that shoulder is Colorado, and over the United States. So, we got to pay attention to that. If the plane go by, it's like the Air Force, make some noise to that. We concluded the last tariff. Sales to Europe. They are putting it in all of our kids. I don't know. But our brilliant president, it's only 200% tariff on theirs. Paul George and Malone.
Look great.
And I didn't want to.
Yes.
And I had to be nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
I like the name. So they make hotels and they actually won awards for an independent nation. But they can't call it because it has to be from the wall on either side of the river. I don't want to, and I hope they don't. But if they put the 210 tariff on, it's just as good wines from California. I get you some really good bargains on Long Island. Now, I do admit, I will not be dishonest with you. Long Island red wines do not compare to the California red wines, or even Washington and ours. But their white wines, and particularly their rosé, I believe that rosé, you pay half, but you have to pay for rosé from Provence. We're going to be interested. Oh, good boy.
cigarettes and stuff. Syntax. So this one is strong. Let's put them out of business. Imagine if France lost the American market for wine. Nobody else could afford it. Well, they'd have to bring the price up. Even if it's still in China, they can sell in China for $1,000 because you call it a job. So great. So that's the kind of stuff that these people want to mess around with. Just like, this story that they don't pay much attention to anyway, because he shows he's winning the tariff wars. Right? Well, virtually won the tariff war, or we both won the tariff war with Mexico. Mexico's become Mexico's more exactly what we need. Mexico, I think, that they used the push domestically to be able to do what they wanted to do, down on the cartels. They've given us and the proof was in the pudding, and a record for the least number of entries ever from Mexico. Now, whatever he's doing in Mexico is working. We never had to use that. So any of you people that got scared of the market and pulled stock, you made a mistake. Now, let's see what happens in Canada. There's a tough guy in Canada. Tough guy. I don't think many people come out of Canada and the world economic forum. All those sissy busies are tough. There are a lot of tough Canadians. They don't go to the they had a case. I have to get it. We have them by about 8 to 1. For every $1 of just a difference in the size of our economy. They need our market more than we need their price. Yeah, you're going to get the same price in Europe. The cost of transportation. Oh, gee. You know, I'm not good, bro. I'm good to go. The biggest one is an award. Just present what he's doing. Change what he's doing in China and bring it back to the United States. Because I don't want to pay next. Changing almost everything with China. Craze Z Art Chairman Lawrence Rosen. It appears on all the major websites, including Amazon, which is the looking on it. He's the largest toy manufacturer or toy manufacturer and sales. We're moving a large percentage, almost all of what we've done in China to do with duplicating some machinery and investing in high-speed automation equipment. When Trump announced the high tariffs on China, it's been full steam ahead, said Mr. Rosen. I'd rather control my own destiny than be subject to the ups and downs of the daily changes in tariffs. Oh, but this is the Wall Street Journal. See that right? Mr. Rosen, the Wall Street Journal, has so far himself, most of them by running. And Mr. Rosen revenue is equally like that. Couple of different. Better than Wall Street. What do you think would happen to look at? I wonder if everybody has their hands. I may have to go first. Because it's not really history. It's perfect. I've been to both banks. I've been to perfect factories. They have a bourbon based on that. And I've been to Jack Daniels. And what's the difference? Don't get angry at me, Tennessee, but I'm patient. You know, I'm black on sports teams, so Black Lives Matter, screw them, I should go. Because it's my heart.
in effect and putting parents in charge of teen academics. That's why Instagram supports legislation requiring absolute parental approval and age verification for teens under 16.
Fashion crisis hotline, we're ready to talk about what's your fashion crisis. Are you at a party but your friends telling you there's nothing they can't do to us to really fun there? The Haiti Fashion Crisis hotline is to call us 71111. Verify that participation is writers, students,
Veterans benefits for you. This step-by-step guide breaks down what you need to know, from financial compensation and disabilities to information for dependents and parents. This book is a must-read for all servicemen and women. Get your free copy today with our special offer. Call the number on your screen or go online to order.
Well, many people have done. They you know, I think one of the stuff I had to a stock I had to down. About 10 years. It's got okay. I guess maybe in New York. Right. Yeah, so, you got to go to 25-year-old and well, it's like a seem like they make